Well, hey there, guys. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio by Jonathan Voico.
Hello, everybody.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
I'm just an actor.
And, of course, we'll get to that. Most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a hell of a lot of topics we got lined up. We got like 9 issues. We normally do like 4 or 5. We got 9 issues lined up for you guys
Big
today.
day.
And then after that, we're going to go over and start taking your comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or topic you'd like us to discuss, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/John Campea/tip. And the good news about this tip link is that it's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to this show a little bit later on podcast, either say on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or if you're watching this show a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a question. And if you send one in when we're not streaming live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right. Hey, before we get started, I got to say the words that I never thought I would ever say.
Should I duck?
I'm going to a Backstreet Boys concert.
Baby, bye, bye, bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Is that the
Is
Sphere,
that,
or-
by the way, is that Backstreet Boys?
I think, it might be NSYNC.
I think
Never stopping. You know.
yeah. Backstreet's
Well, I think-
back. All right.
I think Tell Me Why might be.
Is that at the
I'm not
Sphere?
sure.
Yes, it's at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Okay, okay. It doesn't matter what you go to. If you go
I
to
knew
the
Anne was
Sphere,
going to
it's cool.
see that.
It's cool.
I knew it.
Yeah, Anne
It's cool.
caught a glimpse of that. I was doing doom scrolling through YouTube, and she goes, "Wait a minute, go back." I'm like, "What?" And somebody had filmed the first 5 minutes of the Backstreet Boys
I saw
concert at
that.
the Sphere, and she goes, "I'm like, what do you do?" She goes, "I'm getting our tickets. We're going on Sunday." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm going to a Backstreet Boys concert, and then on top of that, yesterday I'm driving my car. She goes, "Oh, by the way, we got to stop somewhere and buy you a good white shirt." I'm like, "Why?"
Oh,
She goes,
no.
they are requesting all fans to wear white shirts at the concert. Oh, really?
It's not a cult, John.
And my wife literally said this to me: "Just be grateful I'm not making you wear the bucket hat." So I guess there's one of them wears a bucket white hat or something. So I'm just going to count my blessings, Rob.
Are they like in their 60s now?
They're at least they're in their 50s. They might be but you know what? Even I got to say, the first 5 minutes of that Sphere show,
Oh,
even I got to say,
it was wild.
that looked pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That looked pretty impressive. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do Marcus Wise saying, make it a sheer white shirt and be sweaty. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna
There
do.
you go.
Anyway, guys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here. So back. All right. Let's get good things going here, Sean. We're going to start with this. To nobody's surprise, Smurf sucks. Now, I can't say that definitively because I have not seen it. So admittedly, I've not seen it. I cannot claim that Smurf sucks.
They smurfed it up, huh?
But smurfing it up seems what they've done. According to the reviews, the Smurfs is currently sitting, as of the last time I checked, at 21%.
20 when I checked.
I want, 20 when you checked, it's dropping. Well, look, you guys know Rob and I both share the opinion that we want all movies to be good. Even ones that I'm not interested in, I want to be good, and I want people who see it to like it. But when they showed us the presentation for Smurfs at CinemaCon,
Bruh.
I was like, what on earth are they doing? This looks horrible. And I grew up with the Smurfs. But this looked absolutely chicken choking, gag reflex, halfway down your throat, terrible, vomit inducing, just garbage. It looked terrible.
Don't mince words, John. What do you really think?
I just, again, I haven't seen it. I've seen a lot of trailers that I thought make a movie look bad and then end up liking the movie. But this looked bad, and I was like, I decided, okay, I'm not even going to bother going to go see this. Well, it turns out that maybe it was a good idea because, as he said, it's at about 20. Here's some of the reviews.
All right.
But I got to admit, at 20%, that's about 18% higher than I thought it would be. The Gate wrote, the aggressively mediocre, unimaginative, and low-effort rebooting of Smurfs is the ultimate nap-time cinema for the youngest possible crowd.
Ouch.
Richard Corse wrote, Smurfs' scattershot hodgepodge of music, gentle mayhem, intergenerational humor, and good messages may leave you feeling blue, just not in the way the filmmakers intended. Now, somebody did like it. A Big Gold Belt Media wrote, "It's not just a reboot, it's a reminder of why the Smurfs have stood this test of time." That's a positive one. Oh, look, they all go back to negative. Awards Radar wrote, "No one in Hollywood seems to take Peyo's work seriously and give these characters the big screen adaptation they deserve." South China Morning Post writes, "Smurfs is primarily a marketing tool for Rihanna. Her voice work is fine, hardly distinguished. To be fair, she is saddled with boring, long-running gags about Smurfette-loving fries." Okay. Casey's Movie Mania wrote, "This animated reboot is Smurfing uninspired." NYU Movie Guru writes, "One of the worst children's movies since the Oogie Loves." Oh, I like seeing Oogie Loves references.
Wow.
Since Oogie Loves in The Big Balloon Adventure, a dull and cringe-inducing animated adventure that's more silly and dumb rather than fun and exciting. The Film Verdict wrote, "Every few scenes there's a chuckle-worthy bon mot or sight gag of the animation style will alter radically from some plot-driven reason, but there's far too much downtime between Smurf's sporadic delights." Culture Mix wrote, "Even by the simplest of standards for animated films, Smurfs is a subpar mess of idiotic dialogue, hyper-banality, and unimaginative plot developments that copy superhero movies. Most of the supporting characters have no real purpose but to take up space." I mean, this movie lost me when they introduced Influencer Smurf. Like, at that point, I was just out.
Well, and Papa Smurf's the damn DJ.
Yeah, I know, right? Rendy Reviews at the bottom wrote, "Smurfs is what you get when you order trolls from Temu."
Oh,
That's the line of the day right there.
Oh, man.
Okay. Look, I know it looks like I'm taking delight. I'm just laughing at the reviews. Again, I want all movies to be good. Even though I could instantly tell Smurfs wasn't for me, I was hoping people would go see it and still enjoy it. But Rob, I gotta ask, since it's turning out, it does look like it was every bit as bad as we thought. And again, big asterisk, I haven't seen it. I'm just going off what other people said. Okay. I'm being very transparent about that. When we saw the promos at CinemaCon, like, you and I aren't crazy. Like, we weren't the only ones that saw it.
no.
I gotta ask, how does a studio proceed when they've got to have people around them that are telling them the truth and saying, "Guys, this is horrible. We cannot present this to CinemaCon, let alone we should not spend $40 million in a marketing budget. We should just cut our losses right now." I mean, it's Rihanna, and who doesn't love Rihanna? But I mean, how does this thing even get made? I don't know. What are you thinking about the reviews we're hearing?
I was asking myself that at midnight last night watching the season premiere of Strange New Worlds. But wait, that's another story. No, I'll tell you what's interesting, John. Here's what I find. You know, when I think about Smurfs, if I was going to make a Smurf movie and I had a team of animators working under me, I would say watch the opening of Peter Jackson's Fellowship of the Ring. Watch when they go into the Shire, and watch how all the people, and Gandalf goes by and you see the people sweeping their thing and they look up and they're frowning at him. I'm like, the Shire is where the Smurfs live. I mean, so to speak. And what you want to do is, if you're making something, you're not making it for kids. You're making it for everyone, and it should be timeless. The Smurfs are fairy tale creatures that they don't live in. The whole idea of, I'm never going to see this movie, but they go to Paris or they go to the real world or whatever.
Again, all the Smurf movies do.
Yeah, and it's like when you do that, you're immediately boxing yourself into this idea that you have to take the Smurfs into the real world, because, like, look at the Mario Brothers movie. The Smurfs should go into a land of make-believe. They should go someplace where your imagination soars and kids can realize the possibilities of existence.
I remember I think we had a conversation about that in Vegas during CinemaCon, that why can't they just keep a Smurfs movie in a fantasy realm? Like, just do that.
Because they don't. I honestly think that there are people that don't know how to do that. Like, one of the things I've always thought, our friend Kevin Rubio has the soul of an animator. Like, I worked with him for Kids WB 25 years ago, and the way he thought about gags and the way he thought about animated characters, I don't think that way. I could never think that way. And anybody I've met that works in animation has a certain heart to them, if that makes any sense. They think about things in ways that have always delighted me that I don't think that way. And I'm like, that's why Toy Story is what it is. That's why Pixar can make the movies it makes. That's why you get a Wall-E, or you get an Up, or you get my favorite, A Bug's Life. I don't know why they can't apply that to the Smurfs.
Yeah. Now, they have done that before. I mean, there have been times they have in the past done that, but I mean, that's just where they should be. And like, I get it, the novelty of bringing him into the real world, but they did that novelty. I don't know why they were doing it again. Anyway, guys, I don't want to spend any more time on Smurfs. Question is for you. What do you think? Did you go to see Smurfs? Maybe you saw redeeming qualities in it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But whatever you guys think about the response this movie's getting, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? It becomes official today, or became official yesterday, I should say. According to Forbes, Lilo and Stitch beats Minecraft as the first $1 billion film of 2025. First of all, I'm not surprised. I remember when they started showing the previews for Lilo and Stitch. What did we say? We said this movie's going to make all the money. Not a lot of money.
We did say it was going to make $1 billion.
We said it was going to make all the money. Now, I got to say, though, Minecraft, when it had its opening weekend, I mean, we all said, me included, said, oh, this automatic, this is going to be $1 billion film too. But it ran out of gas just before the finish line. But it did get well over $900 million. Make no mistake, Minecraft is a smash hit. I didn't like it that much personally, but it is absolutely a smash hit, even though it didn't cross that $1 billion line mark. So I guess that really brings up two questions. Well, several really big questions, because we are now more than halfway into the year. And we've had $1 billion film now, more than halfway into the year. So I guess the question is, I mean, we know why we're not getting as many $1 billion films. Fewer people are going to the movies right now, all that kind of stuff. But the two questions that come up to me when I look at this is, what was it about Lilo and Stitch that made it get over that line and join the coveted $1 billion club? And the second question to me is, can there be another one this year? In addressing what made Lilo and Stitch, I think it was a perfect storm of things. Number one, it's a generationally beloved animated thing. Like, people all remember Lilo and Stitch. Parents have showed it to their kids and all that kind of stuff. And now you get to introduce that to a new world and to a whole new generation there. Secondly, you've got a lead character in Stitch that translates beautifully from the animated thing into a CGI live action environment. Stitch was just as adorable, just as charming, just as lovable in CGI live action as the original animated, if not more so. Third, they got a girl that was irresistible. That little girl they got, I remember the first time I saw a couple of scenes of her, I'm like, you just want to eat her up, man. Like, she's just so charming and sweet and adorable. And if you haven't watched interviews with this little girl, watch interviews with her, because it'll ramp up your love for her by about 20 times. She's such a precious little thing. I just love her in it. So, I mean, and a great, robust marketing campaign. They had a wonderful, robust marketing campaign for the movie. So when I look at why did this one cross $1 billion, great nostalgia factor, wonderful translation from animation into a live environment, a lead character that is just as charming in this environment as it was in its original. And they just made it really cute that people enjoyed. Now, I thought the Lilo and Stitch movie was quite good. I thought it was quite good. I'm not going to say it was great, but I thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it. I left with a big smile on my face. Wasn't as good as the original animated one. But yeah, there's that. As far as the question goes of, well, are we going to get another one? Obviously, there's at least one. It's called Avatar. So that's at least one more. But since I've said for 2 years that there's no chance in hell that Superman was going to make $1 billion, and Minecraft has...
I had hope.
Of course, hope. Of course we hope it.
That's what the F's for.
But, well, not in this movie, apparently. And with Minecraft having run out of gas, and it's not going to cross the finish line. So you got Lilo and Stitch right now. You got Avatar coming at the very end of the year. I don't see any other film that's going to do it. Tron Ares is not going to cross the $1 billion mark. Mortal Kombat is not going to cross the $1 billion mark. One Battle After Another is not going to cross the $1 billion mark. There's a lot of films we talked about are most anticipated for the rest of the year.
Great stuff.
But like, there's none of them are going to be $1 billion films. Many of them, if not most of them, can be very successful, but not necessarily billion. So Rob, those are the reasons I think Lilo and Stitch crossed that finish line. And as far as I'm concerned, I think Avatar, and that's it. I think 2025 is going to be a year where 2 new members of the $1 billion club join. How do you see it?
Well, I mean, obviously, Lilo and Stitch had the animated film to market the live action movie. So it is a beloved film that has been around for 2 decades. You know, people love Lilo and Stitch. So it had, and, you know, Disney, like even I said when we saw clips from it, I'm like, the way that Stitch was portrayed, you know, irresistible. And Lilo and Stitch around the world, Lilo and Stitch is one of Disney's, like Cars, merchandisable properties. People love Stitch. People, the marketing of it is incredible. I think actually it doesn't surprise me because we knew from the very beginning that Lilo and Stitch was going to make $1 billion.
Oh yeah.
But it's amazing to me that Minecraft made like 950 million. And if you think about it,
oh yeah, listen, I was way more than I thought.
That's a
it
movie.
would be.
That's a gimmick movie that no one thought it was a Minecraft movie. You know who did think about that though? Friend of the channel, producer Roy Lee.
Yeah, he did it.
I mean, if you think about Roy Lee produced Minecraft, How to Train Your Dragon, bracketed by Companion and the upcoming Weapons, and he's got The Long Walk. And the thing is, the Minecraft movie, no one thought that movie was going to work. Kind of like the Lego movie, which was also produced by Roy Lee. And it's just, the thing is, you look at that Minecraft movie, The Chicken Jockey. Who knew that one of the big events of movies in 2025 was going to be kids throwing popcorn in a theater? So you can't, it's amazing it made it that far. But I think, you know, like you said, I really think that one of the reasons we're not getting a bunch of $1 billion movies is because we're getting some good movies, so the dollars are spaced out. You know, people are going to the movies and seeing there's a diversity of subject matter. You know, you can go see F1. You can go see Superman. You can go see Lilo and Stitch or Minecraft or upcoming Weapons. There's so many interesting movies that are in theaters. I think it's kind of bifurcated. Well, that's 2 things, but split up the box office. And in a way, maybe that's kind of cool because a lot of movies are doing well. You know, and I think that spreading out those dollars means that the business is healthy. So while we might not be getting $1 billion films, it's going to be interesting to see. We went over the movies that are coming out in the latter half of 2025. There's a lot of great films.
Great looking films.
I know. And
I'm getting more and more excited for that. Together, the Brie Larson.
Yeah, Together, and After the Hunt, the trailer that dropped, and then what we're going to talk about later today. I mean, there's some really great stuff, and I love seeing the dollars spread out. And maybe we'll get less $1 billion movies, but it'll be interesting to see how healthy the overall box office is, because I think it's pretty robust.
By the way, so a bunch of people, when I'm saying I only see Avatar really doing it, a bunch of people have been throwing different films. So let me cover the 3 films that most people are mentioning. One is Fantastic Four. I do not believe Fantastic Four is making $1 billion.
No, $2 billion more likely, but yeah.
I think it'll do well.
Sure.
Unless it's really, really good.
Well, I mean, yes, once we see it, that could totally change our tune.
Even if it's really, really good.
You know, and the thing is, its chances have increased because Thunderbolts was very well received.
Yeah.
People are loving Superman, and we've always said that if Superman's really good, which it is, that it's going to help because more people are going to be more motivated to go. But I still don't think Fantastic Four makes $1 billion. There's Wicked 2. Now, the first one made over $700 million.
Yeah.
The one reason I'm going to suggest maybe it doesn't have that song to promote it this time around.
Right.
Like the hallmark song of Wicked is not in. And you know what? I know it would have been a little bit deceptive, but from a marketing point of view, I know this song is not in the second one. They still should have used that music to promote this one. They should have been in there, but it's not, and I get why.
So accurate.
And I think that is going to take some of the wind out of the marketing sales. The other one is Zootopia 2. Now, Zootopia 2, at one point I thought, yes, that's going to be $1 billion film. But seeing how the whole box office has been shaking out, I'm now not willing to put my money on it. But out of all the outside of Avatar 2, I will say, out of all the remaining films, I think the one that has the best shot at the $1 billion mark will probably be Zootopia 2.
I agree with you.
If I had to put down $5 on which of the three, Fantastic Four, Wicked 2, or Zootopia 2, one of those three makes $1 billion, which one would it be? I would say probably Zootopia 2.
And Zootopia is coming off. Wasn't the first Zootopia? It didn't gross $1 billion, but it was close.
No, $1 billion, 25 million.
Oh, it did gross.
Yeah, it did gross $1 billion.
Oh, so it did gross. See what do I know?
25 million over a bill.
My days of punditry are over.
Yeah.
But I mean that's a huge deal. And the thing is, if
Lost your
Zootopia
street
is
cred.
good, I mean it'll sail in on those Lilo and Stitch headwinds, and maybe it'll make that kind of money.
By the way, originally, we don't talk about it a lot, but it was mentioned. Originally, Lilo and Stitch, the live action thing, was meant to go straight to Disney Plus.
Right.
Originally, Moana 2 was meant to go to Disney Plus. I think they're pretty glad they didn't do that with
Like
these
Evil
two
Dead
movies.
Rise was supposed to go to Max.
I think they're pretty damn happy that they didn't do that with either of those two.
Can you imagine, like, if the cooler heads prevail, but if they only wound up on streaming, how much money that would
Oh,
$2
how much
billion.
money they would have been left on the table?
Over $2 billion.
wow.
And if anything, now you're going to have more of those subscribers you wanted in the first place, which is why they wanted to put it on streaming. See how that works?
I'm trying to bring up the list. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah. But to that point, I think we'll do a full story of this tomorrow. But the Nielsen top streaming movies list has come out for the last quarter. Guess what? 9 out of 10. No, you can't see that. 9 out of 10 of the top 10 most streamed movies were all theatrical release.
Of course they are.
The
We've been saying that.
Release film. Only one of the films that was able to get to the top 10 was one that didn't have a theatrical release first, and that one was Back in Action. I don't remember which one was Back in Action.
No idea.
I can't remember now.
I
But that was the only one
don't.
last quarter that made it into the top 10. So yeah, pretty good move for them to put those in theaters. Anyway, guys.
Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz.
Oh, that's right. Jamie Foxx.
I like that movie.
I didn't watch it.
I liked it.
And I like Jamie Foxx and I like Cameron Diaz.
Because we hit it so hard. We kept saying like, just spy parents.
It looked
but guess
terrible.
what?
It looked terrible. That's probably why but hey, it's the only one that made it. We'll probably talk about that on the show tomorrow. So we'll move on for that.
It
Anyway,
was
guys,
exactly what I wanted it to be.
guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Lilo and Stitch becomes the first $1 billion film of 2025. Will it be the only one? Well, definitely not, because Avatar will, but will they have any other company joining them? Why do you think Lilo and Stitch, out of the entire first half of the year, became the only film to do it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, that down. Let's move on to this. Next week, Fantastic Four hits. Cannot believe.
Fantastic Four.
It was like 3 going on 4 years ago that Disney did that presentation live stream, and they finally announced Fantastic Four, and here we are next week. It's coming out. And, Disney seemed to take recently, about 2 weeks ago, they took over a more direct control of the marketing, because whatever marketing agency and whatever trailer company they were using to promote the film, it wasn't working. So Disney decided, let's just take control of ourselves and let's select some clips and release these clips. And that has done far more. We've talked a lot on the show about this. Those little clips they've put out have done far more to rev up my excitement engine and move the needle for anticipation than anything else they've done. Well, they're taking another step now to try to eventize this Fantastic Four release. This coming from Comic Book, that Disney Plus is doing something they've never done. They are Disney Plus. You can tune into Disney Plus and watch the live stream of the premiere of Fantastic Four, the blue carpet premiere of Fantastic Four on Monday. And if you are a Disney Plus subscriber, and if you are watching this live stream, they're going to show new never before seen footage. Now, I will say that they have dropped new never before seen footage for one or two other Marvel films during the premiere, but never in a setting like this with Disney making a big event out of it. And they're going to
Is it not going to be on YouTube? Because they always stream their premieres
they're
on.
streaming it on Disney Plus.
Wow.
Yep. It's for the first time they're doing this. And so it's an interesting move by them, I gotta say. I think I do like it. Like, you have your own format, you have your own outlet. Why not use it? So listen, I'm getting more and more excited for Disney. I don't watch red carpet premiere streams.
I
They're
only watch
dull
the Marvel ones.
and they're boring. And quite frankly, most of the hosts they get for these things are absolutely horrendous.
You don't want to know what they're all wearing?
They're awful. I'm sorry, but they get the worst red carpet hosts for these things. They're absolutely
Such
abysmal.
awkward, painful moments where they don't know how to end a conversation. It's just like, all right, well, back to you, I guess.
Listen, in a world where you have Mark Ellis's out there, and in a world where you have Perry Nemiroff's out there, how are you digging up these horrible hosts for these red carpets? I just don't like you had there. Anyway, sorry, that's a total side note. I ain't going to talk about what grinds my
Scott
gears
Mann
right
should host all the red carpets.
Scott Mann, in a world where you have Scott Manses out there, how are they coming up with these terrible red carpet hosts? Anyway, so I think this is quite exciting, to be honest with you. And I'm actually going to tune in and watch this thing now. And, you know, even though we said the other day, I don't want to see any more footage, I kind of want to see a little bit more footage. That's just where I'm at right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing this thing. Anyway, Rob, what do you think about their move here of leveraging Disney Plus, making an event out of this on their premium streaming outlet, and doing the live stream on Disney Plus of the blue carpet, and showing some more footage for those people who watch?
Well, you know, I'm going to say, guilty. It's not a guilty pleasure. I like watching the Marvel red carpets live. It just gets me excited. I like to see what baseball hat Kevin Feige's wearing. I like to see how everyone is dressed. I get excited. I like seeing the stars, the innocuous questions they get asked. I like making fun of the hosts, like you just said. So I will tune in. I will tune in and watch this. I do not want to see any other footage, but I understand what they're trying to do, and I think they should do that, because why not incentivize that? But the thing about YouTube is that it's a worldwide thing. Like I felt like when I was watching those worldwide streams that I'm like,
worldwide.
I'm here with fans around the world. But if you're watching it only on Disney Plus, I can't imagine they're going to get the kind of numbers they rack up on YouTube, But look, you know what? I'm old school, man. I get excited seeing red carpet events. If I was living in Hollywood in the 40s, I would have been one of those idiots with a camera on Hollywood Boulevard every time there was
It's like singing in the rain.
Yeah. What's the matter with my voice? I mean, I love it.
You know who they should get to host this thing? What's the name of the comedian who roasted Tom Brady? Was that Nikki Glazer?
Oh my God.
Have Nikki, there it is. Disney, you're welcome. I know you only got a couple days notice. Get on the phone with her and get her to host this red carpet.
All right, Anthony, you need a guy and a girl, Anthony Jeselnik and Nikki Glazer.
Oh, it will rule. It will absolutely rule. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this move by Disney to actually leverage Disney Plus? And they're going to stream the blue carpet premiere of Fantastic Four. And for those who tune in, watch a little bit of bonus footage. I think it's a great move on their part. Will it change the game for them? Probably not, but I think it's a nice move. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's talk about this. The other day we talked about the story that we are now a year out from Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. We're all excited about it, of course, but they just did something that I have never seen done before. They're putting at least the IMAX tickets on sale a year in advance. Now, at the time when we were discussing this, we said, this is a pretty interesting move to really make this upcoming Christopher Nolan a true event. Like, you're buying your tickets a year in advance. I think
it opens a year from today.
It's a year from today.
The 17th, yeah.
And Jonathan was saying, they're going to be people saying, sorry, I can't come to your destination wedding. I've already got July 17th of 2026 booked. You're planning vacations now around this thing. So that's what they were doing. We thought it was interesting. Well, the tickets went on sale last night. I went into the theater to watch Superman for a fourth time last night, and I had a great time. Theater was packed, by the way. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So I go in at about 8 o'clock to watch the movie, to watch Superman again. I come out, reactivate my phone, and now it's about 10:15. The tickets went on sale at 9 p.m. At 10:15, I come out and I see, oh, Rob texted me. Well, what Rob's doing.
My boy Thomas Logan sent that to me from Florida.
Sold out. Now, in an IMAX theater, I count anything beyond the first 2 rows as sold out, but this was at 10:15 last night. Sold
Those
out.
are real ones.
So this morning, I go over to the official page. I go over to the Odyssey page, and they bring up the list of all the theaters that then, remember, these are the true 70 millimeter IMAX screens, blah, 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 right? I'm like, all right, let me see. It's a year out. They just went on sale last night. Let's see what old Johnny Boy can find for some tickets. All right, I'll check out the Regal Irvine Spectrum. I really like that theater. I really like going to the Spectrum. Great. Load it up here. The 2 p.m. show's grayed out. Well, no, let me click it. Ticket availability. This movie time is sold out. What? Okay. All right. No
Try
biggie.
another time. We want you to see it.
No biggie. Let me check out the TCL Chinese. All right.
Oh, that's the one to go to, man.
Oh, grayed out. Ticket availability. This movie is sold out. All right. What about Universal City Walk? AMC Universal City Walk. Nope. No movie times available. There are no more movie times. All things are sold out. Okay. All right. Where is it? Let's try San Francisco. Anything there? Look at that. It's orange. That means there are tickets. Great. Maybe I'll have to drive up to San Francisco. Let's load it up and front row. Oh, but there's a batch of 4 at the back. I was telling Jonathan earlier, I think, because I looked earlier and that was totally sold out. So somebody must have canceled 4 tickets. So if you're in San Francisco and still looking for tickets, there are 4 left. 4 left, unless you want to sit in one of the wheelchair accessible ones at the front. Anyway, I went down through this list earlier today.
What about the Czech Republic, John?
You know what? I got to say, I've not checked the Czech Republic. Let's see this. The Czech Republic Theater.
Because I'd love to go there to see it. We should fly there and make a date of it.
All right. Now, my Czech is a little rusty, but I believe that says, fuck you, we're sold out. Pretty sure that's exactly what it says in the direct translation from the original Klingon. So not only did they have the audacity to put these tickets on sale a year in advance, dude, they sold them out. They sold them out. Now, again, you might be lucky and find single seat here and there, but like essentially, they sold this thing out in hours a year in advance. Again, the idea was to get people buzzing and talking, make an event, and now this thing is true. This is a year-long countdown clock to this movie now. And I had somebody ask me today. They said, what do you think makes more money? Avatar 3 or the Odyssey? To which I said, well, and I might have said this on the show before, Avatar 3 is a potential $2 billion film. Odyssey is a potential $1 billion film. So clearly it's going to be Avatar 3. I'm not so sure about that anymore. Because if Christopher Nolan can make a period piece biopic about a nerdy scientist, and that movie comes this close to joining the $1 billion club.
I see Oppenheimer.
You were asking for it.
I was, I guess. What are you going to do now when you follow that up? You have arguably a top 5 most stacked cast in the history of cinema. And instead of a period piece biopic about a nerd, and I say that with all due respect, you do a fantasy sword and sandal epic Homer adventure. Rob, have we been wrong? Is Odyssey maybe no one's going to sit here and say it will make $2 billion, but Is it a potential $2 billion film? Anyway, what were your reactions when you started seeing these tickets selling out, and what do you think about the overall chances of the film?
Well, it was funny. That thing I sent to you, my friend Thomas Logan, who's a longtime watcher of my own channel, sent me that image. Like he was watching this happen, you know, and I couldn't believe, I thought, come on, this is fake. I look, of course, he's not prone to sending me fake things. So I was like, oh my God. You know, again, I like seeing people excited about movies, you know, and I hope we're going to get a re-release of Troy. I want to get the director's cut of Troy because it is kind of, if you want to see a prequel to the Odyssey, watch Troy. But I think that, you know, Chrissy-Ann, man, don't bet against him. He's like Johnny C. Or Jamie C. Johnny C. Jamie C. You don't bet against either one of them. And I think that, look, $2 billion, I don't think so. I don't think that unless you go there and have some kind of divine experience in the theater, I don't think it's going to make $2 billion. But I do think it's going to be Christopher Nolan's biggest grossing movie yet. And
so you're thinking this is going to outgross
Dark Knight Rises or The Dark Knight, or I only because this is a great way to hype it up, because it is. I mean, this could be the most Christopher Nolan of Christopher Nolan movies. I mean, he's a genre unto himself. You know, he really is. And when you go see a Christopher Nolan movie, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing with time. Like if it begins where you see old, like, you know, you old Odysseus, let me tell you, son, about the story I had. I've got a great, I don't know how he's going to do it, but I'm sure it's going to be not a straightforward sword and sandal epic. I think it's going to be something, we're going to get the Dunkirk, you know, of the
Like
Odyssey.
different
I don't know.
perspectives.
I just think he does a great job of, you talk about movies being experiential events. Oppenheimer was an experiential experience.
Yeah,
truly.
it was truly really.
And you
yeah.
know, he nobody brings you that, and he's developed it over time. You know, Christopher Nolan gives you, even though Tenet is not my favorite of his films, that was truly an experiential event. Watching it in the theater in IMAX, you know, it was like, wow, I still
And
quite
you know when that movie was at its best? When I understood what the characters were saying.
right.
Oh my God! When I knew when I could understand what the characters were saying, that movie was humming. It was great.
Yeah, and I love that movie has a great ending.
It does.
It has
It
a
really
great
does,
ending.
yeah.
And but seeing it in the theater, look, he provides an experience the way no one else does. And I think people are going to go, man. I think people are going to go. I think it's going to be his biggest grossing movie ever, even though it has no Batman in it.
You know what? I'm going to
does it?
completely agree. Because I'm starting to think that 2 billion, I mean, I'm starting to think 2 billion might not be completely unrealistic. And so because of that, I think 1.3, 1.4 is totally within the ballpark.
Yeah.
And that would make it his highest grossing film of all time. So I think you're right about that. By the way, just a big shout out to Raymond Badilio, who sent in a super chat badge just to be supportive. Thank you, man. Appreciate that very much. By the way, just before we end, I got to make a little confession here.
Uh-oh.
You were talking about something that spurred me. I meant to confess this earlier. For a long time,
We're not
you
going to get in
confess?
trouble if you confess.
no.
No cancellation.
For a long time, people would always say, oh, the greatest difference between a theatrical release version and a director's cut is Kingdom of Heaven.
Yes.
I've heard that for years and years and years.
That's absolutely true.
And for years, I have completely disagreed. I'm like, I really doubt that. I don't see how a director's cut is going to make a difference to that okay movie at best. And it's an okay movie, but there's no way. I discovered about a week ago that I confused, I'm going to bring it up on screen. I confused the Kingdom of Heaven for the Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Garner,
no.
The Kingdom.
Oh my God.
For over 10 years. For over 10 years, when people would talk about that, my brain was just wired to think about the Kingdom. I'm like, there's no way the basic structure of this movie, a director's cut is not going to make much of a difference.
It's a big
Kingdom
difference
of
between
Heaven,
the
yes,
Kingdom
it
and Kingdom of
does. So
Wow.
for 10 years, I've totally been thinking about the wrong movie. And I just wanted to confess that publicly, that I am human. I made for 10 years, I've had the wrong impression of something.
Since you brought that up, can I give a shout out to 20th Century Studios president, who I like to call the quiet king of franchises, Steve Asbell, because Steve Asbell has 20th Century Fox, since their library was taken over by Disney, physical media has been zero. We haven't gotten anything.
Yeah.
And they took over, Sony's taken it over, but because of Steve Asbell, we got the Kingdom of Heaven director's cut on 4K, and they announced yesterday officially that their next release that comes out in the beginning of August is Master and Commander in 4K. Which is another wonderful,
remarkable movie.
Remarkable
Master
movie.
Commander.
It's like the best Star Trek movie that isn't Star Trek.
All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Last night, Ann and I finally got around to going to our 4th screening of Superman.
Wow.
And so we went. Now, the movie theater we go to 95% of the time is the AMC Tyler Galleria here in Riverside. And what we do is, instead of parking in the mall parking lot, we go this back route, and then we drive to the top of the parking garage, and because that's on the same floors where the theater is, and we park up there. And normally, there's like 20, 30 cars up there. We go to see Superman yesterday on a Wednesday. And we're like, we get to the top level, we're like, holy crap. Hundreds of cars. And we're like,
Smurfs.
is this Smurfs? And we're like, what? And I had to think to myself, what day of the week is it? Is it Thursday? Like, did Know What You Did Last Summer and Smurfs and Superman's in there? I'm like, no, it's Wednesday. We go in, we walk into our theater on a Wednesday, packed. Now, granted, it was their best theater, it was the AMC Dolby Prime, but still, on a Wednesday, it was completely packed. We go up to our seats. We got seats in the back row, and right beside us, like one of the most wholesome things I've ever seen, there is this big, burly dad who I could tell before coming finished working on his truck. I could just tell, right?
Was he playing that song you were listening to earlier?
Yeah, we won't go into that. That's a little what happens pre-show stays pre-show, Jonathan. We don't
I just
discuss
asked about a
these
song.
things.
I didn't say anything. I'm just
We
asking
do
about
not
the song.
discuss these things.
The Rihanna song from Smurfs.
Right, that's what it
that
was.
was it. But this dude with the most adorable little girl who was his daughter, sitting there, right, to watch Superman. And of course, Ann and I had already seen it 3 times, but watching this little girl and this, I gotta say, it was one of the most awesome things I've seen, because this big burly dad, like, but like, as his little girl is like celebrating, he's like leaning over and like, I'm like, this is the most fucking awesome thing I've seen all day. Like, it was adorable. Anyway, that aside, theater was packed. And I remember thinking, what were the numbers like? Because if you guys remember, yesterday we talked about this. Superman scored the second biggest box office Monday of the year. Then Tuesday came around, and it was the number 1 Tuesday at the box office all year. That includes the $1 billion Lilo and Stitch. It beat out Lilo and Stitch's first Tuesday. It beat out Minecraft, which is almost $1 billion film's first Tuesday. I'm like, holy crap. Well, guess what? According to all the reports now, James Gunn's Superman had the biggest Wednesday box office of 2025 with another $11.8 million. Remember, this is just domestically. This is just the domestic box office. So it had the second biggest Monday, had the biggest Tuesday, it had the biggest Wednesday. This, Rob, I was telling you yesterday that us comic book fans, generally speaking, when these movies come out that we are excited about, we tend to rush to see them in the first 48 hours after they're out. And I remember I said to you, I am wondering what's the midweek performance going to be like for Superman, because everybody who wanted to see Superman, well, the thing made over, how much did it make opening weekend? $125 million opening weekend.
Right.
Everybody who wanted to see Superman went to go see Superman in that first weekend. And I had questions about what would its midweek performance be. Well, those questions are now gone, because its midweek performance is outpacing a couple of almost a couple of billion-dollar films. So I don't know. You see this number. What's your takeaway from it?
Well, I've been saying to everybody, there's all the naysayers poo-pooing the budget or the box office of this movie. I'm like, let's take a look at what the midweek numbers are, because people forget that. They forget. And I'm like, this is a family movie. You just nailed it. Big burly dad taking his little daughter to see Superman. That's what's happening. It's a family 4-quadrant film. And, all these people that are doing all this box office analysis, I'm like, you guys, you're not paying attention. And if you look at family films, they do this. I mean, if you look at it now, in 3 days, that means Superman's box office is close to $40 million in 3 days, added to the coffers of that
Just
weekend.
Just
domestically. That's $40 million. So, and that's not even Thursday and Friday. So you add that to the mix, you could look, the movie could potentially have made $60 million midweek. That's huge. That's huge amount of money. And if it does, it's projected to make at least another 60 million this weekend, because it's basically free.
I wonder about that. By the way, quick shout out. Micro Swayan also sent in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you for that. And also, where did it go? We have Simon Fuda also sent in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you so much for that. But here's the reason why I wonder how well it'll do second weekend. Like, it's going to make a bunch of money second weekend, no doubt. But we've seen this all the time, though, right, Rob? Like, the bigger the opening weekend is, because Spider-Man No Way Home, a movie that almost made $2 billion, almost made $2 billion, made like $1.9 billion, had over a 70% drop on the second weekend. Not because it didn't do great, but because everybody had already seen it.
Right.
And I wonder about Superman's second weekend, because with it having as big of an opening weekend as it did with 125 million, and now with so many, like, record-setting numbers of people seeing it midweek, I wonder if there's going to be many people who are still interested in Superman left to see it on the second weekend.
I think so, because you know what? Something about this movie that I think has been underestimated. It's called Superman. And when was the last time we had a movie, Superman Returns? That was in 2006. Man of Steel was Man of Steel. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. But this is Superman. That's it. So if you're a family, and you think like that daughter, I bet that daughter went to her dad and said, Dad, I really want to see Superman.
Oh, I guarantee you're right. You are I absolutely guarantee that little girl was begging her dad, when are we coming back to see it again? Yeah.
I mean, you got girls, boys, whatever you identify as. You see Crypto, you see the word Superman. A parent's not going to be like, no, I don't think we should go see Superman. Of course, my dear, we're off to see Superman. I mean, and I think that is something that is not to be underestimated. And if you think about it, this midweek money and the money that it could make this weekend domestically, you could be looking at another $120 million adding to the domestic coffers of the film.
I just checked.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I just checked out of curiosity the Burbank 16 for tonight, Thursday, prime time. IMAX, 95% sold. Dolby, 95% sold.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Prime time.
And by the way, that's the busiest theater in the United States, too.
Second busiest.
Second, but
New York Times Square is
yeah,
the AMC is the busy. But you're right. That's that. Hold on. I got. Let me see if I can find this. Why can't I bring it up? Well, can you bring up your screen showing that?
I gotta go back to it.
But I mean, that's extraordinary. The movie's making a lot of money, and all the naysayers can sit and say whatever they want, because this movie is cha-ching. And you know what? It's got another week ahead of it before you get Fantastic Four. Yeah, going into Comic-Con.
Okay, 7:30 IMAX.
You got that?
Yeah. Oh wait, sorry. Here. This one was 3D, so it wasn't as much, but there's that. But there's actually 3 more since I checked.
That's a 3D screening?
Yeah, and these 3 just
Wait a minute,
added.
that's a 3D screening?
Yeah.
That many people are going to a 3D screening?
Hell, I didn't even know it was in 3D.
Because
I'd go see
remember,
that.
when we were doing opening weekend, we looked and all these theaters were packed except for the 3D screen. There's like 4 seats. But that many people are going to a 3D screening? All right, what else do you got
Okay,
there?
and then here's I only looked at the Dolby also here. 7 o'clock. We'll just do prime time.
Sure. And
I'm just bringing it up.
This is tonight.
Tonight. Dolby Cinema.
And that's already. That's for tonight. And it's not even noon.
I'm curious. Now, my theater is a much smaller theater. My theater, like the AMC Tyler Galleria, is much smaller. So I am curious if I go to a primetime screening tonight, Thursday night, there's some seats. If you want to bring this up.
Oh, it's here.
So that's tonight. This is a Thursday night. So not bad. I wonder if it'll be the biggest second Thursday of a thing. I don't know. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Superman is like domestically, again, it is having some headwinds internationally, like with the other markets. I think,
no doubt.
I think the rest of the world just associates Superman with America too much, and America isn't exactly super popular in the world right now. But it is but here at home, domestically, it's popping off the biggest date. Like, again, it was the second biggest opening for a comic book film since 2022. It's now the biggest Tuesday of the year. It's the biggest Wednesday of the year. I don't know. How do you think it's going to kind of hold out here? Anyway, whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? They announced Tron Ares, and I got to admit, I wasn't super big on the last Tron movie. What was it called? The Tron
Legacy.
Legacy. I was excited about Legacy. Other than the soundtrack, didn't completely love the film. Got to admit, I didn't hate it, but I didn't completely love it. Then they announced they were putting Jared Leto into it, which is divisive for some people. For me, he's an Academy Award-winning actor, so I like seeing what he can bring.
Mr. Nobody's one of my favorite science fiction films of the last 25 years.
And then at CinemaCon, they showed us the presentation for Tron Ares, and our jaws were on the floor.
Yeah.
Holy crap, this looks great. So, a little while ago, they dropped the first trailer for Tron Ares, and most people were like, wow, that really does look good. Well, today they dropped a new trailer, which they are calling Biblically Strong, which is, of course, a quote from it. But Tron Ares, they're saying, trailer Jeff Bridges returns alongside Jared Leto's new Biblically Strong. So I'm sorry, is saying that Jeff Bridges is in the movie, is that a spoiler? Is that a spoiler for anybody? Anybody? Is that a spoiler? Anyway. Jeff Bridges returns alongside Jared Leto's new Biblically Strong soldier. All right. Here's the thing about this trailer. It doubles down on all the things that made the first trailer great. Like seeing again, what's the big machine called?
The Recognizer.
The Recognizer. I keep wanting to call it the Predictor for some reason. The Recognizer in there, the light bikes, the ships, that one shot of the ship skimming the wings of the fighter plane and then turning and it just shreds the plane. I'm like, okay, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty great. I love the scene between Jeff Bridges and Jared Leto. Fascinating. I loved all that. Here's the one thing that makes me a little bit worried, Rob. And I know you loved this trailer, but we'll get to you in a second here. The one thing that makes me a little bit worried about the trailer was, are we doing the evil military complex executive is using this as a weapon? Are we doing that again? And not that Tron's done that before, but I mean, like, that's a pretty standard movie trope. Doesn't mean it won't be good. It doesn't mean they won't do well. But that was the one part to me that I was like, yeah. But the rest of it looked amazing to me. And Tron Ares remains very high on my excitement level to see this. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see this trailer, the second trailer for Tron Ares. How did you feel about it?
Well, look, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Tron franchise. I made a documentary 20 years ago or 23 years ago for its 20th anniversary on the making of Tron. That's on the Blu-ray. You can see on the Blu-ray. And I delved deep. I spent a lot of time with Tron director Steven Lisberger and went into the making of the film. And, Tron Legacy, I was excited for it. I didn't love it like you. It has some great visuals. The Daft Punk soundtrack is a banger.
The soundtrack was fantastic.
But I didn't think that the story was particularly effective in terms of where the internet went from 1982 to 2009.
Completely agree.
It didn't, but the idea of the digital world encroaching on our world, now that's a science fiction concept I can get behind. And the fact that how do we defend against it? You know, on the verge of quantum computing, on the verge of Google 4 or Grok 4. Humanity we're at an inflection point or a turning point, call it what you want, but this is the right movie for the right time. And I'm hoping, like you, I saw this, well, it's weapons of mass destruction. You know, I'm like, okay. First of all, you can't even compete. There's like this is going to replace the idea that maybe, you know, the Fermi paradox and life out there in the universe, that maybe it's our lot in life that we evolve beyond our flesh and blood into the digital space. Well, what happens if the world of Tron encroaches on that and makes that happen much sooner than it's supposed to? I mean, human beings, their time is limited if you've got the digital world characters coming out of the internet. I'm like, bring this on. I can't wait to see this. I hope it's really the first of all, the visuals in this are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like you said, planes getting shredded, recognizers. The one shot from inside the building, when you see a recognizer
going by.
I'm just like, bruh, come on. I mean, this is exactly what I want to see. And you know what? Like with the first trailer, to see not just Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor, you know, they've been doing lots of scores, but to see 9 Inch Nails.
I was the same way.
You know,
Daft Punk's one of my favorite groups of all time. But obviously they weren't going to do this. When I saw when the trailer came out and I first learned, and you see that 9 Inch Nails, the NIN badge, like,
you know, because the Social Network doesn't say that 9 Inch Nails did the score.
Different.
It's Trent Reznor and Atticus
That's
Ross.
different.
Watchmen didn't have, no man, 9 Inch Nails. Plant that flag, son.
Yeah.
And
I
it
can't
sounds
wait.
great. It already sounds great.
Oh my
Like,
God.
the music in the trailer is amazing. You know what it gives me vibes of? Gives me vibes of the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Dude.
Like that, I can already tell from this trailer, I'm going to be having the soundtrack of this movie on repeat.
Oh my God.
9 Inch Nails on their own is like, I used to, this is going back to the 90s, but I used to play Quake 2 and I put on my disc for 9 Inch Nails, like whatever, a couple of their albums.
Quake 2.
And I would just play the music over the game and it just worked perfectly. It was so good.
Well, it's like, dude, it was 30 years ago when David Fincher used that 9 Inch Nails remix to do the opening. Kyle Cooper over at Imaginary Forces did the opening to 7. I mean, that remix, I'll bring you closer to God, Monday. That was, oh, come on. Now, 30 years later, we're getting a Tron movie scored by 9 Inch Nails. Yes, bring it on.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What did you think about the new trailer for Tron Ares?
Look how dope even this. Disney went hard.
Dude, oh, man.
Oh, yeah. That opening to the trailer was great. That was a great opening to the
I don't
trailer.
normally interrupt you on your outro, but I had to say that.
That was worthy. That was worthy. All right, guys, whatever you thought about the trailer, jump on down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys, we're an hour into the show and we still have 3 topics to go. So let's move along here, shall we? And none of them we can skip because we got to do this. I am a big fan of Ryan Gosling. Good Canadian kid, by the way. I still believe him and other good Canadian kid, Ryan Reynolds, need to do a Strange Brew remake.
Ah.
Come on.
Dude, that's $1 billion
Ryan
idea
Reynolds,
right there.
Ryan Gosling, Strange Brew remake? Are you kidding me? Somebody make this movie. Anyway, and I love Will Ferrell. I've always loved Will Ferrell. I still do. Well, Ryan Gosling and Will Ferrell are teaming up to do a cross between the nice guys and the other guys for something called the Tough Guys. They're making, and it, by the way, it's not a crossover, but the Hollywood Reporter is now reporting Ryan Gosling, Will Ferrell teaming up for an action comedy called Tough Guys at Amazon MGM Studios. They write this. Ryan Gosling and Will Ferrell are ready for a tough new project. The duo are in talks to star and produce Tough Guys, an action comedy being set up at Amazon MGM Studio. Longtime Working Moms scribe Daniel Gold penned the script as a spec, which has the following logline. Fed up with being disposable, 2 henchmen break free from the criminal underworld and rewrite the rules as they abandon their ruthless boss and dodge the elite assassin on their trailer. Who's going to be the elite assassin? I want to know that. Anyway, Gosling helped bring Ferrell into the project after becoming enamored with the script. The Oscar-nominated actor is already a favorite at Amazon MGM Studios, which will release Project Hail Mary, Rob's #1 most anticipated film, on March 20th, 2026. Anyway, I love this idea. I've wanted to see Ryan Gosling back in a film like this ever since I saw The Nice Guys. One of the most tragically underappreciated and underattended movies. That movie deserved to be a smash hit, and none of y'all went to go see it. So whatever. Don't complain about there not being great original films. So that movie was absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And to see these two together, I think is going to be a lot of awesome. And if Ryan Gosling like loves the script so much that he's actually reaching out to Will Ferrell and saying, you got to be in this with me. I mean, I think that says a lot. So I think this sounds great to me. You honestly could have said any scenario. Okay, there are a couple of henchmen from the mob that are trying to escape the mob. Great. But you almost could have put any scenario in there. I'll say Ryan Gosling and Will Ferrell together. Sign me up. So I love the sounds of this. Rob, what do you think about the sounds of it?
What is not to love? Ryan Gosling is one of the funniest people in the world. If you ever see him on like, Graham Norton or whatever talk show appearance he's doing, that guy is so dryly funny.
He is so low-key funny.
So funny. He's just and I'm sure, it said in this article that he read the script and recruited Will Ferrell. Again, I think we're going to see, here's what I love, that this is an MGM Studios movie. It's an MGM film, Amazon Studios. I love the fact that we now are going to have studios that Ryan Gosling has clearly earned his keep at MGM doing Project Hail Mary. He finds a script. He can shepherd it at a studio. The studio's like, yeah, man, we love the last movie you did. Let's do another one. It's this great kind of synergy. I think Amazon Studios, or MGM, pardon me, MGM and Amazon, they are the studio to watch. Universal's going to have a great 2026, but Amazon is the place to see in 2026. I think they're going to be doing all kinds of movies. They're going to be making these a comedy that's going to go theatrical. I'm excited. I'm already excited. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait. I don't even know. The premise sounds great. He'll probably recruit Russell Crowe to be the assassin. I don't know. But what's not to love? You go, Amazon. You go, Sue Kroll, and you go, Courtney Valenti. Make it happen.
I gotta say, talking about Ryan Gosling, I think one of the funniest things I've ever seen on Saturday Night Live. I mean, there's some great iconic things. Jane, you ignorant slut. Chris Farley in the dance off with Patrick Swayze. But in my top 10 of, I think one of my funniest moments ever from Saturday Night Live is this one. The Alien sketch. Dude. When what's her name on the end?
Kate McKinnon.
Yeah, when Kate McKinnon is doing her thing, and you so desperately see Ryan Gosling trying to hold it together. It is one of the best sketches I think they've ever done. And they went back to it and did it several, and it's always funny, but just that first one.
Also, one of the great digital shorts they did about Papyrus.
Oh my God, yes.
And they did a sequel to it too.
That's right.
I mean, I love that. I watch that every 6 months. It's so funny.
Oh man, and his performance of I'm Just Ken at the Oscars. It's like one of the greatest things ever. Anyway, loved it. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Will Ferrell, Ryan Gosling teaming up for an action comedy movie called Tough Guys. I think this sounds great. Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Flashback a bunch of years. I can't even remember which year it was, but I was at AMC still. And we had 2 video game movies coming out that was going to usher in a golden age of video game movies, I was sure. One of them was Warcraft. The other one was Assassin's Creed with Magneto himself, Michael Fassbender, a guaranteed, can't miss, award Oscar-nominated blockbuster hit.
I remember the night you and Dennis and I can't remember who all went that night, and I was setting up because you guys were going to do an after-movie review. And I'm like, how was it? And you guys were like, be glad you did not go.
Yep, didn't happen. Didn't happen. Assassin's Creed was a big miss, and one of the truly big missed opportunities in IP to movie conversion history. Well, it's back. Not coming to the movie screen, but as a series. Not animated, live action. As Variety is reporting that Assassin's Creed, a live action series, has been ordered at Netflix. Not to be developed, it's been ordered to Netflix. This is what they write. The long gestating Assassin's Creed live action series adaptation is officially moving forward at Netflix, Variety has learned. The news comes nearly 5 years after it was first reported that the streaming giant was developing a series version of the global hit video game franchise under a deal with the game publisher Ubisoft. The project has gone through multiple creative teams in that time, with Roberto Patino and David Weiner now set as creators, showrunners, and executive producers. So right now, we have two of the best and most exciting potential video game to adaptation stuff coming to series. We've got God of War coming, which, by the way, is being done by the greatest showrunner in the world. Ronald D. Moore is doing that. That's I guarantee you right now the show's going to be awesome because they brought on the greatest showrunner in the world, Ronald D. Moore, to do it. The show's a guaranteed hit. Guaranteed it's going to be awesome. And now we got Assassin's Creed coming. Now listen, the old video game curse, I believe, is now it's broke. We are getting like between things like Fallout, which was just amazingly great.
And the Mario Brothers movie.
The Mario Brothers movie doing great. We now got God of War coming. We now got Assassin's Creed coming. I think we're at a place. The Sonic movie's doing great and being really charming and wonderful. I think we can say that the video game curse is broke. That doesn't mean all video game stuff is going to be good. Oh, Last of Us.
Uncharted. I know.
I mean, if you ask Ray will say absolutely Uncharted is the one that broke the curse. But I mean, I think we can say the curse is broken, where not that every one of them will be good, but that it's no longer an absolute certainty that any video game project coming out will suck balls. I don't think that's the case anymore. And this is exciting here in Netflix. And listen, Netflix clearly took their time with this. 5 years they've been trying to figure out this puzzle and get something, a good looking package together that they can bring and deliver to series. And it sounds like they've done it. So with things like God of War coming, Assassin's Creed,
More Fallout
coming, the second season, they've already done filming the second season, I believe. And oh, by the way, now all we need is a Red Dead Redemption series.
Yeah.
And Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, well, that's coming. Ghost of Tsushima is coming. So anyway, Rob, you hear about this. Was this the right IP to try to adapt right now?
Well, it can only be better than the movie.
It can't
you know what the
possibly
thing
be
is
worse than the movie.
But the Assassin's Creed, the whole series is awesome.
It's a great story.
You know, it's really, really cool. And there's even a Hot Toys figure,
Nice.
an Assassin's Creed Hot Toys figure. I think it's a great way to go, and I would love to see this, especially if the period piece, the lush production value they can bring to this. Come on, look at that. And you know what? Ninjas. I mean, that's samurai, but there could be ninjas.
But it hits so many different eras.
Yeah, I mean, you can go anywhere, but ninjas. I'm just saying.
And pirates.
And ninjas and pirates and samurai and
Oh my.
Roman gladiators and like whoever and whatever.
Yeah, you know what? There's assassins in every era.
Right.
You know-
now the question is, how are they going to get Chris Pratt to be the lead of the film?
Yeah, maybe he
That's-
can voice a villain. I don't know.
He'd be the voice of one of the villains. I think this is a great move. And again, Netflix, I often bag on them for the fact that they make absolutely horrendously terrible original films. But they've got a pretty damn good track record with their series.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to do a good job with this again. They've clearly taken their time. 5 years they've had this in development before ready to pull the trigger on it and put it to series order. So it's exciting. Now we're going to have to just sit back and wait for a while to see who they're going to cast. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Netflix has made it official. The Assassin's Creed series is coming. It has been given a direct-to-series order. Now, probably in the coming weeks and months, we're going to start hearing some stuff about writers coming on board. We already know who the showrunners are, directors, cast, all that kind of stuff. However you guys feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's finish things off with this. Mortal Kombat. Bum, 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 bum. One of the great, I'll say it, the greatest soundtrack ever. All due respect to Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and everything else that's ever come out. The soundtrack to that original Mortal Kombat movie is still my all-time favorite soundtrack. Not favorite score, favorite all-time soundtrack.
Source cubes.
Du hast forever, my friend. So then they came back Then they came out with a revitalized version of it a couple of years ago that we were all very excited. I mean, listen, you got Hiroyuki Sanada as Scorpion. How can it miss? It had one of the greatest moments in movie trailer history.
Yes, it did.
When Sub-Zero cuts a fool, and then as the fool's blood splashes, Sub-Zero freezes the blood, grabs it as a blood spike, and then stabs the dude with his own blood.
Fatality.
It was one of the greatest,
Say it like that.
greatest moments in any movie trailer ever. And the movie sucked.
Man.
The movie was not good. I was so disappointed in the movie. Yeah, I was quite let down by the. And don't get me wrong, it had its moments. But I mean, right from the beginning, they made this weird choice about, out of all the pantheon of great Mortal Kombat characters, who's going to be our key character? Who's going to be our main character? Well, I got an idea. Let's make up a new one. Cole. What? Now, listen, I'm not saying you couldn't have still made a good movie with that choice. But that was still a really questionable choice. Like, this huge pantheon of these iconic, recognizable, great Mortal Kombat characters, and you decide, nah, none of them are good enough. Let's make Cole. Okay, so whatever, they did that. Then the dialogue was terrible. The story made no sense. Again, had its moments, some great fight scenes. Hiroyuki Sanada always rules. So then they announced the second one. Interesting, Carl Urban joined it as Johnny Cage, because they did tease Johnny Cage at the end of the first one.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I love me some Carl Urban. Everybody knows I'm very biased for Carl Urban. It's like, all right, still can't get excited about this movie. So they dropped the trailer today. And I'm like, all right, load it up. What kind of tripe are they giving us here? How bad is this going to be?
Bruh.
It's pretty awesome. This trailer's pretty awesome.
It's the Galaxy Quest of Mortal Kombat
It is
movies.
absolutely, we were talking about this. It is, I'll let Rob explain, but it is absolutely the Galaxy Quest of the Mortal Kombat movie.
I thought it was genius.
I think this looks sick good. This looks like exactly the way a Mortal Kombat movie should be. Tongue firmly planted in cheek, but also treat it serious in elements, make the action feel brutal and visceral. And you got Carl Urban in there. Now, I do wonder, they're going to have to use body doubles a lot for Carl Urban doing all this stuff. So I did, as much as I love Carl Urban, I did wonder whether or not the movie would have been served better to get somebody in there who could do some of, maybe a good chunk of their own action sequences, but whatever. I'm sure they'll pull it off. The sunglasses will do wonders. I got to say, as somebody who was thoroughly disappointed in the last Mortal Kombat movie, thoroughly disappointed. And I love the trailers for the last one too, so I'm gonna mitigate my excitement a bit here. But I gotta say, Rob, I thought this trailer was all sorts of great. I loved it. I watched it like 3 times this morning. I'll probably watch it again a little bit later today. I thought it looked great. I think Carl Urban fits right in there just perfectly. Hiroyuki Sanada, it is time to be the hero. Oh, Yuki can say Oogie loves, and I'll think it's the most awesome sounding thing in the world. Oogie loves. It'll be the most awesome sounding thing in the world if Hiroyuki Sanada says it. Anyway, this trailer looks great. What did you think about it?
I too loved it, John. I watched this. What a great premise. It's goofy enough that you can get by. I mean, maybe this is like the inverse of Highlander. You know, the first Mortal Kombat, that's Highlander 2.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be like the original Highlander.
Maybe this will be like.
I
the
mean, it
original
looked
Highlander.
stylish. It looked fun. I'm an actor. It's just, I loved it. I'm like, okay, not only is this a Mortal Kombat movie, but it has a plot, a story that goes beyond Mortal Kombat that makes it something really interesting.
Well, you know what?
Along the lines of Galaxy Quest.
This should have been the first Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
You introduce the universe of Mortal Kombat through the eyes of a non-superhuman being, Johnny Cage, who's drawn into this. This should have been the first movie.
You know, it reminded me, it's funny because you know how James Gunn talks about we're not going to move forward in the DC universe without a great script?
Right.
It looks like somebody came up with a high concept idea for a Mortal Kombat movie and somebody recognized it. Look, it doesn't matter what a Mortal Kombat movie is really about, as long as you've got great characters and great fighting. That's really what people want to see. And dudes' spines ripped out of their backs. I mean, that's what a Mortal Kombat movie is supposed to be. And by saddling it with a bunch of mythology and a bunch of story that isn't there in the game, then you have to go through this. It turns into a generic fantasy story. Well, I love the fact that they came up with an idea that is not a generic fantasy story. It's a total, I'm an actor, I don't even know what the hell this is going on. You're going to pull me into this weird fantasy world. I like the fact that there's something that I can, there's a reason to watch it now. And I hope that they couple that with great fighting and lots of fatalities and bloodletting, because that's what people want.
You've got to capture that sense of how ludicrous this whole scenario is.
Yeah.
Well, acting at times like it's the most deadly serious thing, and other times like it is the most ridiculous. It's the trailer. And I'm not saying that the movie's going to be able to find this balance.
No.
But the trailer found the balance. The trailer found the balance of like, oh, true, scary, dread. Oh shit, what are you going to do? With, oh my God, this is so bonkers ridiculous.
Yeah.
All at the same time. And again, let's go to the Galaxy Quest comparison, because the reason we brought up that comparison,
I think we could do that.
like, I'm sure many of you guys maybe have not seen Galaxy Quest yet. It's an older film now, but
how dare you?
It is an older film now. Well, Tim Allen, who
Rickman.
starred in a TV show called Galaxy Quest, gets taken by aliens because they thought his TV show was real and bring him out there. And Carl Urban is Tim Allen.
Right.
It's totally that kind of a scenario.
Or Alan Rickman meets Tim Allen.
Or, by Grabthar's hammer, you shall be avenged.
Did you guys hear that story the director of A Galaxy Quest was telling about Tim Allen, and he got like emotionally kind of like welled up, and he's like, I don't like what I'm really feeling here. Do you guys mind if I just go to my trailer? And I'm like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and the director was like, yeah, sure. And then like Alan Rickman goes, oh my God, he's experienced acting.
I have not seen that. I got to look that up.
Yeah.
Again, look, am I going to sit here now and say I have all the confidence in the world that this movie's going to be great? No, because I love the trailers to the first the most recent Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be cripe. But I do got to say, it looks like they did exactly what should be done when you stumble. They went back to the drawing board. They said, okay, out of the things we did, what worked? And let's see why that worked, and let's lean into that more. And they had an honest conversation with themselves and said, okay, what didn't work and why didn't it work? And they course corrected. Again, that's a lot of assumptions I'm making just for a trailer, but that's the feeling I'm getting from the trailer. It feels like they learned the mistakes they made and they made a course correction. And the result is this trailer. And I think this trailer looks great and it looks fun, but I'm not willing to put money on it being a good movie because they fooled me last time. We'll see.
You have to also, there's no way on God's green earth that anyone's ever going to make a Mortal Kombat movie that's going to be, I don't know, compared to Casablanca.
Right. Or Game of Thrones.
Or Lawrence of Arabia or Game of Thrones. So you have to go in with your tempered expectations. But, like I love the Star Wars ripoff Star Crash made by Luigi Cozzi.
Yeah.
I'll defend it to my dying day. Do I think it's a great movie? No. But I love it. And, so I want a Mortal Kombat movie that works. Not maybe the way Star Crash works, better than that, but I can't believe I disparaged Star Crash. I love it so. But I want to see something that delivers. This has to give us great fighting, great gore, great characters, and it has to be a lot of fun and great music.
Yes. That's your formula. That's your ingredients. Now bake a pie out of it and let's see what you come up with. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new Mortal Kombat trailer? I got to say, as somebody who did not like the last movie, this trailer does it for me. This trailer is good.
Oh, yeah.
Now, will that translate into a good movie? We'll find out. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your comments and questions. But before we do, We will bid good day to the writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I will be back. Well, we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. And now, guys, we're going to move on and start taking your questions that you guys have sent in. So, Jonathan, what do we got up first?
Anonymous says, hello, team. Hope everyone is having a great day. I went to Disneyland. I got on the Star Wars Rise of Resistance ride for the first time, and it was awesome. From the coldness of the cast to the ride itself, can't wait to go back again.
Listen, I got to tell you what. I have a special place of hatred in my heart for Disneyland, but even I got to say, that Rise of the Resistance, I don't know if I call it a ride or an attraction, whatever. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty great. Like, you get on the initial shuttle and like, oh, you're being captured by the First Order. When you walk into that first room where you're in the hangar bay,
Yeah. You feel like you're on a Star Destroyer?
you feel like you're on a Star Destroyer. Like, and they got all the stormtroopers. I got to tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of Disneyland, but man, I got to say they did that one right. That Rise of the Resistance thing is a pretty, I would even like, it hurts me to say, I recommend going to Disneyland. Fuck Disneyland. But, God, I would even tell somebody if they've never done the Rise of the Resistance ride at Disneyland, it's worth going for because it is pretty great. It's pretty great, I gotta say. All right, what's next?
We got Quirky J. Hi, John. What I meant to say yesterday was that could James Gunn's The Suicide Squad fit into the DCU timeline? Because Peacemaker's storyline in season 1 is a direct follow-up, and that movie doesn't connect much to the other DCEUs.
No, I knew you were talking about that one. No, I don't think so.
You'd have to then cast what's her name as Harley Quinn and
Margot Robbie? Well, no,
yeah.
you can recast.
That's true. Just say
And
it's the
still
same
say
character.
it's the same person. You could
Yeah.
do that, but I don't think they are. I mean, listen, when you ask the question, can they, if you ask any question that starts with the two words, can they? Well, the answer is yes. No matter what the question is, they could if they wanted to, but to be honest with you, man, I really don't see them doing it. And I really like that Suicide Squad movie a ton, but I don't see them doing that. All right, what's next?
Old Danny boy, 9 months ago. This is pretty crazy. My ex had a mental breakdown, attacked me, and stole my son. Needless to say, life has been hard, and as stupid as it may sound, watching Superman has been the only enjoyment I've had since then. However, the home movies in the end get me.
Well, look, I often say on this show, and I'll keep saying it as long as I'm still doing this job, that one of the truly great, powerful things about movies, about stories really, but in their ultimate form, movies, is that they give us that reprieve. They give us that oasis. They did sometimes in the midst of things that we're going through in our life where it feels like we can have no joy. They have the ability to give us moments of joy or moments of, imagination. And that's one of the greatest things about not just movies, but the communities that celebrate them. And that's what I want our show to be for people. And I know it is for me personally. And I'm glad that the movie was able to be that for you as well, man. Thanks for sharing your experience. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, Superman and Supergirl have absolutely spoken before, so I wonder why Superman would not have shown Supergirl the message. She's from Krypton and would know the Kryptonian language and tell him what they said. Maybe a different backstory, or she refuses.
No. You're refusing. The problem was that Superman didn't understand the language. The problem was that the second part of the message was damaged and he never heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it wasn't translated.
He didn't need it translated.
No, he didn't need it translated. And listen, by the way, like, we're asking questions to things we can't possibly have the answer to yet, because all we know is that Kal-El is there, Kara is there, and that they have a relationship, but in the sense that they know each other. But remember, she literally just walked in, said, "Where's my dog?" and then left. That wasn't a very warm family reunion.
Yeah.
For however long she's been gone. So, like, we literally don't know that she has ever seen, like, why wouldn't you show her that? Well, listen, I got things that are special to me that lots of people in my family haven't seen.
Breakdance tapes.
Breakdance tapes, for example. By the way, pretty damn good breakdancing tapes that none of you will ever see. But I mean, I got lots of stuff that's special to me that I've never shown to people in my family. So it's, again, we don't know what the full context is. So trying to raise a concern, well, wait a minute, why did this? There's a million possible explanations for it, but I'm sure we'll figure that out as we move forward.
You know what they should do? Going back to the, they should just get Samara Weaving to replace Margot Robbie.
Well, if they were bringing that Harley Quinn over and they couldn't get Margot Robbie,
Yeah.
you're right. Just get Samara Weaving because
Weaving,
everybody thinks she's Margot Robbie anyway.
But-
All right, what's next?
Butterscotch McGinty. It's a great name. Ryan Gosling and Will Ferrell have been announced to star in the action comedy Tough Guys as a Gosling movie with Guy in the name. I think we can safely assume this is going to be a great film that bombs at the box office. Hopefully not.
I mean, it depends. I mean, if they do this movie right, even though you got names like Ryan Gosling and Will Ferrell in it, you could do it for a fairly reasonable budget. So, I mean, if they do this movie right, this is a movie that if it makes 300 million worldwide, it should be profitable. If you do it right. So I don't know that it'll bomb at the box office, but it probably isn't going to be like a $700 million film.
No.
But these types of movies aren't designed to be those anyway, so that'll be fine. But I got to tell you, man, I'm very excited about this film. I think this is giving me something really to look forward to. I think this sounds great. All right, what's next?
Hugh says, gave Man of Steel another watch after you called it underrated, but some parts are rough. Why would Protective Paw Kent bring a piece of alien tech to a state lab? And after confirming material is a breakthrough in science, there's no more questions.
Well, I mean, the answers to those questions are obvious. I mean, you're trying to find some answers, but once you start to get a sense of what's happening, you decided now I've got to keep this secret.
Right.
I mean, and like, to be fair, they lay that out pretty clearly in the movie. When you watch the movie itself, you know what I'm thinking about doing with Superman being out right now? I don't know that YouTube will allow me just to re-upload. A couple of years ago, I made like a half-hour long video just on Man of Steel being and why it's the most underrated comic book film of all time. I did like a full half-hour mini documentary about why this movie is the most underrated comic book film of all time. And I'm really thinking now with the new Superman being out, I'm thinking about re-uploading it. But I don't know if it'll let me re-upload it or if I have to delete the original one first and then re-upload this one. But anyway, I'm thinking about doing that because a lot of people ask me, why do I love that movie so much? Why do I love Man of Steel so much? And that's the video that I like really just lay out. This is why I love this film. This is why I think this film is brilliant. I'm thinking I'm going to just share it again, but we'll see. All right, what's next?
Being punk kind to yourself is cool. It fills me with joy how Superman made me feel. As someone who's dealt with mental illness for a long time, Thunderbolts made me feel seen. Superman made me feel hope that the future can be better. To be that hero to your younger self is the best goal.
Yeah, and I think you just articulated very well why so many people are loving this movie. I did part 3 of our Superman open spoiler discussion. Ended up being 5.5 hours of Superman open spoiler discussion. But it is the one superhero that has actually inspired me. Now listen, I've got superhero movies that I like more than Superman. That are great and they're exciting and they're thrilling and I love watching the characters and all that kind of stuff. But I've never had in any superhero movie moments with Steve Rogers, Captain America, but never really had a character in a superhero movie that truly overall just inspired me. This Superman does that. It makes me believe I can be a better person. It makes me believe all the other pieces of shit that live around me can be better people. It makes me believe humanity can be better. It makes me believe that kindness and just decency and goodness are not a lost art. Even though a lot of things and a lot of people, whatever, in this world make it feel otherwise. It fills me with hope. And I just love this movie, man. Anyway, all right, what's next?
We got Josh says, hey, John and crew, I know yesterday the runtime for Fantastic Four First Steps was 114 minutes, but for some reason my theater is saying it's 140. minutes long, which is strange because it has never been wrong before. What do you think is?
I don't know
right?
that, like, again, that story came from the British actual board, like film board, put out that number. So I don't know if that's a typo. Are you looking up the AMC?
Oh, yeah, you gave it's a good idea.
Or I can look up the AMC thing here. I'll say if I go to AMC theaters and I look up, search Fantastic Four.
Pop, 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 pop,
Let's
pop.
see what they find here. Okay. Fantastic Four, First Steps. Let me see what it says about it. This is saying a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes.
Mhm.
You want to bring this up on the screen?
Sure.
Uh,
There we go.
Yep, right over here in the corner. You can see it over here in the corner. 1 hour, 55 minutes. So the British thing was 1 hour, 54 minutes. This is 1 hour, 55 minutes.
Yeah.
So AMC is saying, your thing is saying 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is almost a full half hour short of that. So with the British Film Board saying it and AMC Theater saying it, I think it's safe to say this is what the actual runtime is. All right, what's next?
We got Benji. Just purchased my Odyssey tickets in IMAX 1570 Film Theater, true IMAX Grand Theater, not the small retrofitted one. Can't believe I purchased a movie ticket 1 year out. Thursday, Friday, Saturday IMAX tickets already sold out. Freaking see Nolan, man.
I just can't believe. I can't.
He may
I
have
think
reached the
it's-
heights of Jim Cameron. I mean, in terms of hype.
Well, I mean, Christopher Nolan doesn't have 4 of the 5 highest grossing films of all time.
No, I mean, but just now approaching that now.
yeah,
Like,
they have truly eventized this movie. I mean, we talked about it when they announced they were doing it, and we thought it was a really interesting, good move, and it showed it. They have truly eventized this whole film, man. It's gonna be crazy how big it can be. All right, what's next?
we got Chris. As someone who grew up loving Smallville, it has warmed my heart to see it being recognized as the influence it was for the time by Gunn and cast, particularly Corn, Sweat, and Holt, who said it was their introduction to Superman. It was mine also, a great show.
Well, you also got to remember that one of James Gunn's best friends is Michael Rosenbaum.
You're right. Who was Lex?
Who played Lex Luthor in the show. Like he slips Rosenbaum into a lot of his stuff. I think Rosenbaum, I think he might have even been in his wedding party. Anyway, so those two are longtime good friends. So clearly, like, Smallville was going to have a part of it. I mean, clearly the Christopher Reeve Superman film had a big thing on it. James Gunn is a very vocal fan of Man of Steel as well. So I saw moments of Man of Steel brought into that as well. So yeah, you see a lot of great influences from the comics and the television shows and the movies. I thought all the best pieces of them brought into it. So it was really good to see. All right, what's next?
Excuse me. Anonymous says, still not thrilled with the Kent's portrayal in Superman. The montage is so good.
Anyway, skip.
Yeah, Anonymous, you jerk. Forbidden. At first, I was debating with myself, well, you're a master debater, on whether what we are witnessing in the DCU so far counts as multiverse or not. I was like, probably not. Then I realized Marvel isn't consistent with their own logic and rules either when it comes to multiverse.
Yeah, it has been frustrating in this phase of the MCU. It's one thing if you want to do multiverse, but they've literally had 4 or 5 projects that have literally had 4 or 5 different definitions and different versions of multiverse. Like even Ms. Marvel had a version of multiverse that did not fit with the version of multiverse that Shang-Chi had. That did not fit with the version of multiverse that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness had. That did not fit with, I mean, that's been a kind of a frustrating thing. I really hope DC doesn't get caught in that as well. I don't think they will. I think James Gunn has got a really good handle on it, but we're going to see how they're going to play it out, particularly once we get a chance to see Peacemaker season 2. All right, what's next?
SB, when you hit the reels, Campea road trip. Oh man, can you come to Lubbock, Texas, home of Texas Tech, where Mahomes is from? I hate the Chiefs because everybody here hopped on the bandwagon. I'll hook you up with a free haircut and hot towel shave with a facial steamer.
Well, once we start doing the movie watching tour, I 100% can say Austin, Texas will be one of our stops. I don't know if that'll be, this year, but Austin, Texas, it might be this year actually. Austin, Texas will definitely be one of the stops. I don't know. Texas is a big state, nowhere near as big as my home province of Ontario, like tiny compared to Ontario, but
But who's counting?
Texas is a very big state. So, and I don't know Texas geography very well. So, being Canadian and all, but I mean, if what do they call it? What do you say? Lubbock's Texas?
Yeah, Lubbock.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's close to Austin or not, but if it is, come and join me in Austin when we come and do a movie screening there. All right. What's next?
Okay, Jake with a $20 tip.
Thank you, Jake.
John C. and John V. in honor of Smurfs coming out. Have you guys ever seen a movie that was so bad you felt it wasted 2 or 3 hours of your life? Like even after it was done, you can't eat at a restaurant because Lady in the Water. Easily for me.
Oh God, Lady in the Water.
I was sweating. It was so bad.
Lady in the Water. Now, I don't have Lady in the Water in my unholy trinity, but if it was an unholy quintet, it would be on the list. It is absolutely one of the worst films ever produced in history. And now, fortunately for me, I allow myself the grace to leave. I've only walked out of films like 7 times in my entire, out of the thousands of times I've gone to the movie theaters, I've only walked out of films like maybe 7 times. So films that would really be on that list, I never watched the whole way through.
Right.
But that's one I saw the whole way through.
I was with a group and they weren't leaving, so I had to go sit in the lobby alone, which would have been better, honestly. I think about it.
Oh my God. Somebody in live chat, Miko is saying in live chat, Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch isn't good, but I'll at least give it. It is visually gorgeous. Sucker Punch. I mean, so I was about a third of the way through the movie when I realized this is a pretty bad movie. It's the only Zack Snyder film I've ever seen in a theater that I didn't like. It's the only one. But I could tell about a third of the way through the movie, this is pretty bad. But if you just allow yourself to enjoy the visuals of it's visually a stunning film. It really is. But yeah, overall, not so good. All right, what's next?
Koa, let's say they make more of the Batman movies and then James Gunn does his own. Does DCWB want 2 Batmans happening at the same time? Do they risk 2 cannibalizing each other or have another Cavill Corn sweat like fans war?
Why would it be a fan war?
Yeah,
they're both his.
Yeah.
they're both belong to James Gunn. No, I totally think they can. There was a time years ago that I didn't think they could.
People say the same time. It's like, it ain't coming out the same month. Calm down.
Yeah, they wouldn't be releasing in the same week, and it'll cause confusion. You know what? People figure it out pretty fast.
I'm pretty sure when I see the Nolan one or I see the DCEU one, it's a different Batman.
Yeah. Like I remember when my mom was still alive, having this conversation with like when the new Joker, when the first Joaquin Phoenix Joker movies come out. So is this Joker this? Nah, Ma, it's a totally separate world. It's a totally separate reality. Oh, okay. And my mom got it. Like it'll take 1 second of explanation and anybody with above a 3rd grade intellect will totally be able to understand it. It's fine. So yeah, I don't think they're going to cannibalize each other at all. Like the only way they'll cannibalize each other is literally like Jonathan was suggesting if they drop them on the same day. So no, I think, and understanding that since the Robert Pattinson universe Batman is such a radically different world than this world that James Gunn is creating, I really don't see any problem with both of them. Again, I didn't always feel that way. Go back 4 or 5 years ago, just like 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, I probably felt differently, but I've come to realize, no, it can work totally fine at the same time. Totally fine. All right, what's next?
Crypto's Defense Squad. There's a running joke on X that Clark fought so hard to get Crypto back to spare Lex and humanity from Kara's wrath.
I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, love Crypto so much. I would die for this dog, even though he is CGI. Can't wait to see more of him in the Supergirl movie. All
right, I'm going to say something that I said on my live stream last night. And initially, I think a lot of you are going to disagree, but if you hear me out, I think you'll agree. During my 4th screening of Superman last night, I realized something. And the thing I realized is this. Crypto, the CG animated character, dog in the movie, is the single greatest CG character from a technical point of view, is the single greatest CG character ever done in movie history. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest character. Like, that's Gollum, clearly. Or maybe a Thanos. But from a technical point of view, that is the greatest accomplishment ever in bringing a CGI character into a live action world. And I'll tell you why it beats Thanos or anybody else you want to mention. Because with alien characters like Thanos or Misa Jar Jar Binks, they're alien. They don't look like or feel like anything in our real world existence.
Yeah.
So when our brain looks at them, whatever they look like, that's what it looks like.
Right.
There's a phrase that we've used a lot over the years, that everybody in the industry uses over the years, called the uncanny valley. Like, just something is off. And you got that a lot when CGI went from doing science fiction characters in CG to real world things. Like, we're supposed to believe that horse is real, or that CGI person is real. It's like our brains know instantly something's off with that the uncanny valley. Because unlike a Thanos or a Jar Jar Binks, there's nothing like that in our real world for our brains to accumulate that to, or even a Gollum. Like, we don't have that. It was during my 4th screening last night of Superman that I realized 95% of this movie, I totally forget that dog's not real. It just feels like a very well-trained dog.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Lois is sitting in a chair and Krypto jumps into her lap. And I remember about halfway through that, I like, oh my, wait, that's not even real. That's not an actual dog sitting in her lap.
John stood up in the theater and yelled that.
Like, but I remember in my head, I'm screaming, oh my God. Like, that's why I will actually say that I think it might be the greatest technical achievement ever, because I see a lot of people in the live chat saying what would be my thing that I would say is, well, Caesar and Planet of the Apes. But here's the thing, that Caesar was anthropomorphized. It was walking and talking and having conversations and having mannerisms and stuff like that, and speaking like, so there was still a sci-fi element of it to that. They made this dog actually make me believe a real dog was on the screen. Now, that doesn't make the movie better. I'm just saying, I don't know what visual effect company was even the one responsible for Krypto. I'm just saying, man, it blew my mind. It blew my mind how 95% of the time I didn't even realize that's not a real dog. It's crazy well done. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, I'm not sure if you already talked about the Mortal Kombat trailer reveal live stream, but them revealing the cast in a tournament style bracket with the chat voting on who to see next at random is a million times cooler than waiting on a chair. I
didn't even know about this, but I can, even though I didn't write it, even though I didn't see it, I will 1,000% guarantee you that was a 10 times cooler thing to do than chair watch.
Yeah.
That Marvel did with their cast reveal for Doomsday. That sounds like 1,000 times better thing. I now I'm going to go watch that. So no, I didn't see it, but that sounds incredible. I'm glad you put that on my radar. All right, what's next?
Mean says, not a fan of movie ticket buying turning into concerts with resale prices 10 times higher, but hopefully this shows theaters worldwide the huge demand for IMAX and leads to more IMAX and other premium screen formats being built in the coming years. But I think it's more that it's a Nolan movie. I know it's shot all IMAX, but if this was a Nolan movie and like just a premium cinema, I think it still would have sold out. Because he's talking about...
Yeah, can you resell movie tickets?
With AMC, you can't, because you have to do it through your app. And then you have to show an ID.
Well, that's if you use your A-list. I don't think you have to show your ID.
Maybe, yeah, you can just... Yeah, that's true, because it's purchased.
Because it's just a barcode,
you can share the barcode, yeah. But then how many people are they selling these barcodes to? I hope.
Well, I mean, remember, AMC A-list, you couldn't use AMC A-list to buy these tickets. So you had to purchase them outright.
Yeah.
And that's your ticket now. It's just a barcode. So you could literally just give that barcode to somebody else.
It would have to be like a direct transfer for me. Like if someone tried to just send me a screenshot, I'm like, you could be selling these multiple times.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. What's next?
Chris Douglas, I agree, John. Superman didn't have to break the box office, but it had to be a hit in terms of reception with hardcore fans, general audiences, and critics for future DCU. Feige and Iger should have a similar outlook for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
Well, yeah, again, I did. Well, what happened was when I was doing my part 2 of my Superman open spoiler discussion, somebody asked a question and I went on this 5-minute long diatribe about why I've been saying for 2 years, Superman doesn't even need to break even to be successful for them. And I went on this thing, and I know there are some people who are too slow and not bright enough to understand the basics of that, because it is pretty basic. But the thing I've been saying for 2 years is that Warner Brothers and DC, what they have to do is look at it big picture. You can't be myopic, because that's what failures do. Failures just look at the small picture. They can only see what's right in front of them. How much money does Superman make? And that's all they see. Big picture people, long-term picture people, successful people, they don't look at just what's right in front of them. They look at the big picture. Netflix, when it started its streaming service, do you know, what was it? 7 years in a row, they lost money. They lost billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. Year after year after year after year. But they were looking big picture. They knew, they had a sense of the roadmap. They knew this is a brand new thing we're doing. This is trying to change the whole paradigm of entertainment and blah, blah, blah. And so even though they went year after year after year after year after year of losing billions and billions of dollars, they knew that this was all building to something, and we're changing the entire paradigm. And this is going to become very, very profitable to us if we do this part right. So the myopic, small picture thinking people would look at Netflix in one of the earlier years and go, Netflix is a total failure because this year they lost this many number of monies. They lost X number of monies. Oh, look at what a failure Netflix is. Okay, sure, if you're myopic and you can only, and you're short-sighted and you're not capable of looking at the big picture, sure. But now we saw the plan, right? And they developed it and they built it and they adapted and they evolved and they got to the point now that they make billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And I've been saying for years, 2 years at least, that is Warner Brothers' approach with Superman. They understand that the DC brand was garbage now, that the DC brand had been run into the ground by the DCEU, that the audience had completely abandoned the DCEU. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure I still have it, but let me see if I do. Do I still have it? No, I probably don't. But at any rate, the whole notion, because like the last 4 DCU movies that ever got released, one made $130 million worldwide. One made like $150 million worldwide. One made like 200 and something million. And then Aquaman 2 made like 400 something million. But the audience completely abandoned them. So what I've said for a long time is that Warner Brothers is going to look at this as a big picture thing. They're not so concerned. And again, it's amazing to me how some people aren't able to wrap their heads around this. They're not so concerned with how much money Superman makes. They're more concerned with how does Superman set them up for future success. And the only way it can set them up for future success, and again, I'm not just bringing this up this week. I've been saying this consistently for 2 years. The only way the DCU can be set up for future success is if Superman knocks it out of the park with the critics and the audience. And they're okay if they lose a little bit of money on Superman, because if they accomplish their mission, they're going to more than make up for that with future movies. Again, they're not looking small picture. What's right in front of me? What is the, because I can't see what's past this. They're not thinking that way. They are thinking big picture. And if you're capable of thinking big picture, then you recognize that what this Superman movie needed to do, and again, this is not new. I've been saying it for years. What this Superman movie needs to do is not necessarily make money, although it would be great if it did, awesome if it did. But that's not the big thing. The big thing is it has to win the audience back. That the people who they get to sit down in theaters and watch it, love it, and get excited about watching more and tell other people that they loved it and start building that momentum and rehabilitating the image and fixing the damage that the DCEU did to their brand. And I'm confident, as just a nobody film fan, saying it's already mission accomplished. 93% audience rating. That doesn't lie. A- cinema score. That doesn't lie. 83% critic score. That doesn't lie. All the things that the DCEU could not do, at least on a consistent basis. It has already started to repair the damage and win the audience back over. And that's why I put out a video said why Superman doesn't necessarily have to break even. It's not something new I've been saying. I've been saying it consistently for 2 years, and that's the truth of it. Anyway, what's next?
We got Chris. He's got a few here. And we've actually answered this like a day or two ago, but I'll read the rest of it. So in Scotland, Odeon Cinemas do an unlimited movie pass for £20 per month.
Nice.
It's led me to the cinema exponentially more often. I love it. Easily one of my favorite purchases. When I got my A-list, that was so. Sometimes you make a purchase and you're like, whatever. When I made my AMC A-list purchase, I was immediately happy with it. Anyways, just ask, how do the unlimited passes help box office reporting?
Again, I've answered this a million times, but just quickly, when you buy a $10 movie ticket, AMC's got to remit 2/3 of that back to the studios. When you get a movie ticket with your AMC A-list, they count it like a $10 movie ticket, and they still have to remit that back to the studios. So the studios make their money, and AMC makes their money because you're now in the theater and you're buying popcorn and soda, and that's how they make their money off you, not from the movie ticket price. So that's just in a nutshell. But I've explained it in more depth 6 other times. All right, what's next?
So Chris follows up. Superman was so awesome. I've been rewatching DCEU movies. I forgot how much I loved Aquaman 1, a surprising smash hit. Snyder cut of Justice League is way better than the theatrical, but it's so long and slow.
Yeah.
The Flash is balls to the wall fun. Man of Steel, eerie but epic.
Listen, I am unapologetic in my enjoyment of the DCEU. But John, you just said it right into the ground. Oh, it did. It did. You can't get around that. That's a fact. But I still enjoyed all of them except for Wonder Woman 1984 and The Birds of Prey and The Fabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Those 2 movies I did not like, but I liked every single other one, and some of them I passionately love, like Man of Steel. And I'm with you. Flash is fun. I don't care what anybody else. I mean, it was never one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, like some people were suggesting, but I don't care what anybody else says. Flash was a fun movie. I had a really good time with it. I like both versions of Justice League, and I agree with you completely. I think the HBO version was a bit better, but it also was way too long. And what the hell was with that Aquaman scene with the women sniffing his underwear, going, that was so stupid. That was so stupid. But it overall was an improvement over the theatrical version. Yeah, I love the DCEU. I had a really good time with it, but it did fail. It doesn't matter if I loved it. I have to be objective. It failed. It didn't win over the audience. It never won over the critics. It didn't have the type of box office success they were hoping for, and they had plenty of time to do it. Thank God Aquaman was there and Wonder Woman. But yeah, out of all their films, they had one that made $1 billion. One. And that was Aquaman. And then its second one dropped 60% and only made just over $400 million. It went from over $1 billion to just over $400 million in one film. Crazy. Anyway, all right, what's next?
We got Chris again with a $20 tip. Been watching y'all since 2019. Sorry I haven't written in more. Unfortunately, had a rough period of not so great health and had to take some time off working.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
In a much better place now. Y'all have been a haven for movie discussions for me in that time.
Well, okay, first of all, thank you for tipping in that much and supporting us on that level. It's unnecessary, but greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for that. But, that is I kid you not. I kid you not. I wake up every day looking forward to doing our show. And the main reason I wake up every day looking forward to doing our show is because I know we get to talk movies together for a couple of hours. And I don't just mean me and Jonathan and Rob in the room. I mean, like, I've got the live chat open, we're talking we're going to take questions. Like, I just look forward to it every day because I know we get to talk about movies together. And like, that's a huge joy for me. And that's what I love about our community, is that for every day we can get together for an hour and a half to 2 hours and just talk about the things we love, talk about movies. And it was what makes me enjoy it so much. And our community is the main reason why that is. So I totally relate with how you feel about that, man, because I feel it too. And I'm very grateful for our community. And thank you for being part of it, man. All right, what's next?
Matt Yellows. Hey, John, love Superman and looking forward to seeing Supergirl. The book, from what I've heard, sounds like True Grit in space, which sounds great.
That's not completely far off.
Do you think Gunn would have been a better fit for Supergirl with it as a space western style jaded character?
Gunn's a great director. He can fit anything. So no, I think he did a great job with Superman. It sounds like they did a great job with Supergirl. So yeah, no, I think he was, after seeing Superman 4 times, doing the Superman movie was definitely the right fit for him. Plus, I mean, it was important that he, as the head of all DC, be the one to set the pace, set the tone with the first movie. Now, I personally believe he should not direct any more movies. He's got a full-time job that requires his attention, and that's being the head of the studio with Peter Safran. He needs to focus on that. He needs to focus on shepherding the rest of the now. He did what he needed to do, direct the first film, set the tone. And I don't think he should direct another one until Justice League. Justice League, I think he should do. And I don't think he should do another one till then. He needs to focus on his main job. All right, what's next?
Dave. I was walking into the theater the other day with my Megan ticket in hand and asked myself, do I really want to see this or watch Superman a 4th time? So I refunded my ticket and bought a Superman ticket instead. I might even go 5th.
I believe, what does he say at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? You chose wisely. You chose wisely, my friend. Yeah, I was so excited about Megan 2. I was so excited about Megan 2. And, well, you guys know how it was really bad. It's just such a bad film. So, yes, I would rather go see Superman for a 5th time than go watch Megan 2. All right, you made the right choice. All right, what's next?
Ty, I managed to snag a Seagull 70 millimeter IMAX ticket for the Odyssey on July 16th, 2026 at 2 p.m. at the theater, 5 minutes from my house in Grand Rapids, Michigan. By 12:30 a.m., I'd say 75% of the seats were taken. And as of now, all 4 days are sold out or close. Love the show.
Yeah, and I think when we were talking about the fact that they were going to do this, I think I might have said on the show, if this works, you're going to see other big tentpole films starting to do this too. Well, guess what? It clearly worked. Now, again, I don't believe there's many films you could do this for, but you could do this for Avatar 4. You could put tickets on sale for Avatar 4 a year in advance, and it'll do. I'll go so far as to say you could probably put tickets on sale for Star Wars Starfighter, the Ryan Gosling, Mia Goth, directed by Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy. I bet you could do that. Like, now that they've done it with Odyssey, you're going to see a few other films do it too, because it clearly worked. It clearly worked. Will it work for other films? We'll find out, but I think they will. All right, what's next?
Tyler from Baltimore. Not to take anything away from Superman, I quite enjoyed the movie, but how much of its midweek success do you think is attributed to AMC's new midweek discounts?
Well, then that applies to every movie.
Yeah, it's true. And it only counts for Tuesdays and Wednesdays, not Monday or Thursday.
Not Monday or Thursday. And let's not forget that the Tuesday discount thing has been around for a long time, right? And yet this still came out. So look, I think... Yeah, I really don't think much, because listen, a lot of people have A-list as well, and are just going to use it to go see A-list. So I really don't think it had that much to do with it. So now, again, the Tuesday discounts have been around a long time. So now we got the Wednesday discounts. Did that help the Wednesday audience screening? Maybe. But now we'll see. Does every movie now start having big Tuesday and Wednesday box offices? Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they do. But I think it has more to do with, again, 93% audience rating. That means people like the movie. And when people like the movie, they tell their friends they like the movie, and so on and so forth. And you're going to get suckers like me, who I was in it for the 4th time last night. You're getting repeat viewing. So positive word of mouth and repeat viewings, I think, is 95% of the reason why it's setting those marks. All right, what's next?
Hang on a sec. Okay, I'm going to read this one. I feel like this thing bumped and I skipped some. So AJ says, locked in Odyssey ticks at the Indianapolis location.
Nice.
Dead middle of the theater 2. I refreshed the ticket page 3 minutes before midnight and they were available. The great seat map was completely untouched. The seat
nice.
map. Yeah. And I totally geeked out, feeling fortunate and lucky.
That's awesome. There's nothing like that feeling of being in a queue for whatever the event is, and then getting in and seeing you've got all the seats in the world you can pick from. That is good. I'm going to have to just look, my favorite viewing experience is AMC Dolby Prime. So I probably wasn't going to get my tickets for IMAX anyway. I love IMAX. Don't get me wrong. I love IMAX. So I'll just have to see it opening week in an AMC Dolby Prime. But I mean, this thing was shot for IMAX. I think it's the first big feature length Hollywood film that's been shot entirely with IMAX cameras. So, I mean, I won't do it opening weekend because all the tickets are sold out, but I will absolutely have to go see this thing on an IMAX screen.
Yeah, I'll probably see it twice.
Second or third viewing, I'll have to go see it on an IMAX screen. All right, what's next?
Daisy. Hey guys, I keep hearing hearing talk of people wanting Pattinson to be the main DCU, which I'm not for.
No, it's a stupid idea.
Yeah, but I was thinking about what kind of vibe would be a fun match for David Supes, and I think campy but kind of scary feeling the Gotham show could work. He said the tone is going to be pretty serious.
Yeah, James Gunn has already come out and said, like, look, I don't want a funny Batman. That's what James Gunn said. I don't want a funny Batman. Now, your main thing is make a great character. Don't make your character so it fits with Superman. Make your great character and then get an actor performing it who can then hopefully have good chemistry with whoever the players they're going to have around them. But I think the number one thing you focus on is just the character itself. Don't worry about how he matches with Superman or how he matches with Wonder Woman. Don't worry about that. Keep 100% laser focus on just developing that character. And then you work out how you fit that character with everybody else to go. The Robert Pattinson's Batman is great because he's in a world that has no magic, has no gods and monsters, has no superpowers. He is in a world that is even hyper gritty and darker than the regular world, grounded and real. They should not touch that Batman. Leave him alone. It's working. Don't try to fix what isn't broken. That Pattinson Batman works because he's in that kind of a world. It doesn't work if you are suddenly drop him in a world where there's invisible jets and aliens with lasers out of their eyes and men who talked with fish. It doesn't. That Pattinson Batman works because it's in the world that he's in, and it's working. That Penguin world is working.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with it.
Right.
Leave it be. Because even if you did bring him over, that Batman doesn't work in this world. That Pattinson doesn't work in this world.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's why James Gunn has said repeatedly they're not going in that direction.
Right.
So people just need to get over that, I think.
And this one just popped in and it's like the same line, so we can just briefly, but like, so he's asking, could the general audience get behind Pattinson being the Reeveverse? Maybe some could, but I don't see how that works. And he's saying, well, you could do the Batman 1 and 2 as prequels, but the tone of that
but then
and the world does not fit.
Then you're trying to jam a square
shoehorning it
peg into a round hole.
And why, when we could get a different Batman?
Exactly. And you can have both of them going at the same time.
Yeah.
And double dip. It makes no sense to me.
All right, here's our final two.
All right.
Tristan, saw the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. My expectations are low, but I'll still see it because the costume department are killing it with the costumes.
Oh, the costume department is killing it with the costumes.
Yeah.
It looks great. Again, I got to say, I'm keeping my overall expectations in check because I loved the trailers to the most recent Mortal Kombat movie, and I ended up really not liking that movie. All I'm saying is that I think this trailer looks great. I'm very excited about the trailer. Now, Is it making me look forward to seeing this movie a little bit more? Yes. But am I now fully expecting this movie to be great? Not necessarily, because I went through this song and dance last time, but I'm going to go in hopeful. All right, what's next?
Okay, our last one here. Anonymous says, one thing missing from the Mortal Kombat trailer, Johnny Cage's signature ball breaker move. That'll be in trailer 2.
Yeah, or they won't put it in the trailer at all.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll say, I guarantee it'll be in the movie, but they might not have to put that in there because this trailer moved the needle.
Yeah.
And they didn't need to put that in that. So I think they'll kind of hold on to that.
All right, one more popped in.
All right.
I'm going to preface this by Elio has a 91%, K-pop has a 90% or 91%, Elio has a 90% with audience. So we're talking about a 1% difference here. That's just the preference here. The preface here. Elio tanked with audiences, but films like Wild Robot and now Sony's K-pop Demon Hunters have won the audiences that Disney and Pixar have failed to. Why Elio plays like it should be a Disney Plus film, while Demon Hunter plays like it should be a big theatrical film.
Well, two things.
It's a 1% difference in audience rating.
Yeah, I mean, and the difference is that the Elio audience rating was in theaters, so it's verified audience ratings, whereas K-pop Demon Hunter was streamed on Netflix, so any ratings on there are not verified, so you can't really count on
And then how do you, like, Disney has to learn, look at Lilo and Stitch. Learn what?
Yeah, learn what? Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion. Now, but with Pixar, you know, people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to. So my wife, Anne, she told me the other day, she goes, I watch K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm like, really? I said, what do you think? She loved it. My wife loved it. And then she watched it a couple more times since then. Not kidding. So last night, I had determined, because I thought to myself, you know what? My audience is going to get a real kick if I come on the show and review K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, whether I like it or not, I think my audience is going to get a real kick out of me reviewing K-pop Demon Hunters, even though I had no interest in watching it. But my wife loved it, and all right. So I decided that after my Superman screening, and after I did my part 3 of the Superman open spoiler discussion, before going to bed, since I was already up late, I was going to sit down and watch K-pop Demon Hunters. I had to turn it off after 25 minutes. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not trashing it. I'm not saying you shouldn't like it. My wife loves it. And I sat down with an open mind. I'm like, cool, let's see. Because you know me, there's a lot of times there are things that didn't look like they for me, and I gave it a shot and I ended up loving it, right? And I was hoping that would happen with K-pop Demon Hunters. But I got 20 minutes into it, like 20, 25 minutes, and I'm like, I can't stand, this is like somebody shoving toothpicks into my eyeballs. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. A demon boy band? I'm like, yeah. I mean, again, movies are art. Art hits us in different ways. And obviously for a lot of people like Anne loved it, and it hits a lot of people great. And that's awesome. I celebrate that. But I couldn't stand it. And I just had to turn it off. Again, that's just me. That's just how it hit me. That doesn't mean that's how it hit you. That doesn't mean you shouldn't like it. But yeah, for me, it was just not hitting for me. That's all. Somebody said, give it a fair shot. Dude, I watched a third of the movie.
That was a fair shot.
I watched a third of the movie. Now, if all of you guys are going to tell me that the first third of the movie sucks, that all of you think the first third of the movie sucks, and it's the second two acts that really save it, well, then maybe I'll go back and watch it. But I think the first act was probably pretty representative of what the whole movie was. At least that's what people tell me. So this is clearly not for me. That's all. And that's fair. Just not for me. Just like there are people out there who don't like The Godfather. There are people out there who don't like Star Wars. There are people out there who don't like Superman. All fair. Movies hit us in different ways. Unfortunately for me, K-pop Demon Hunter isn't it. That didn't do it. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Hey, guys, big announcement. Tomorrow, I'll put this up in the community tab as well. The John Campea Show tomorrow will not be at its regular time. We normally do the show at 11 a.m. Los Angeles time. But due to some scheduling conflicts that I have,
He's got to see
tomorrow-
Smurfs.
I got to go see Smurfs, man. My doubleheader of Smurfs, and I know what you did last summer. Clearly not. But tomorrow, because of I have scheduling conflicts, we are going to be doing the John Campea Show tomorrow at 4 p.m. Los Angeles time, 7 p.m. East Coast time. So 4 p.m. West Coast, 7 p.m. New York time. Just so you know, that's when tomorrow's show is going to be. Again, I will put the announcement up in the community tab so everybody can know that. So just you're aware of that different time for the show tomorrow. All right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to Robert Meyer Burnett, of course, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
And of course, to all of you guys who sent in questions, number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. That'll do it now, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at our special time. My name's John Campea. And until then, my friends, bye-bye.